He was once the most famous teen star in Hollywood in the 1980s, but behind the fame were dark secrets, unhealed wounds, and a shocking ending. How did someone with so much talent fall into the depths of addiction, scandal, and death? This is the tragic, shocking, and deeply honest story of Cory Hy's life. What happened behind the scenes in Hollywood? Let's find out. Born on December 23, 1971 in Toronto, Canada, Cory Ian Hy was a shy boy who loved hockey, a sport that is very popular in his home country. It wasn't exactly a big dream at first. Cory's mother, Judy, wanted to help him get over his shyness by taking him to audition for commercials. Little did she know that this choice would lead Cory to Hollywood and the role that would define his life. Cory's first job in the entertainment industry was in the movie Firstborn, 1984, where he got to work with stars like Sarah Jessica Parker and Robert Downey Jr., even though it was a small part. Cory impressed everyone with his innocence and natural acting skills, and this was the start of a memorable career. Cory became known for movies like Silver Bullet, 1985, and Murphy's Romance, 1985, in just a few years. But his big break came when he played the lead role in Lucas, 1986. Lucas was not only a turning point in Cory Haim's career, but it was also the clearest example of his natural talent. In the movie, Cory played Lucas, a shy but tough boy trying to find his place in high school. With a heartfelt performance, he made the character interesting and easy to relate to. Cory's fame continued to rise when he starred in the 1987 blockbuster The Lost Boys as Sam, a witty and smart boy fighting a gang of vampires. Cory's charm and energy made the movie a hit at the box office and in pop culture, catapulting him to the top of the entertainment world. His picture was on the covers of. He quickly became one of the most sought-after stars of the time, but fame came with a lot of pressure. As a teenager, Cory Haim had to deal with the expectations of both the public and the entertainment industry. His never-ending schedule of interviews, red carpet events, and new film projects threw him into a whirlwind that few people his age could handle. The spotlight, while bright, started to show its darker sides. Amid the glamour and the weight of expectations, Cory Haim found a special partner, a relationship that not only shaped his career, but also became a. This is where the two Corys got their start, and the story behind their collaboration has many hidden parts that not many people have ever heard. The Cory duo, which was made up of Cory Haim and Corey Feldman, became teen culture icons in the 1980s. They ruled the screen with hits like License to Drive and Dream a Little Dream, and they won the hearts of millions of people with their lively and happy looks. Their friendship went beyond the screen, creating a relationship that was both loved and admired. Behind the glamour was a complicated story. The movies of Cory Haim and Corey Feldman were funny, exciting, and showed the carefree and rebellious sides of youth. Cory Haim and Corey Feldman were the Hollywood dreams of every teenager, but when the fame wore off, they couldn't escape the pressures of fame. They quickly became the center of expensive parties, and drug use took over their lives from innocent icons. They slowly fell into scandals and lost control in the reality TV show The Two Cory, where their complicated relationship was shown to the public for the first time. Not only a place for them to talk about their glory days, but also a place where the friendship fell apart. The tense scenes on screen where Feldman confronted Haim about his addiction problems brought home the pain they were both trying to overcome. Feldman, who played an older brother figure, repeatedly tried to shield H from bad influences, even though he was also dealing with his own issues. The lives of the two Corys slowly fell into darkness. Cory Haim, who used to shine brightly, found it hard to deal with a failing career and deep-seated trauma from the past. Even though he tried to focus on his career and friendships, he couldn't get away from his own shadow. The pressures and failures pushed Hy deeper into addiction, even though he said he wanted to get better. H's peak years were marked by radiant smiles and endless admiration from fans, but behind the scenes was a young soul struggling to find stability amidst the storms of fame. It was a glorious era, but it was also the start of challenges Cory could never have imagined would change his life forever. The dark side of fame. Fame turned Cory Haim from a simple boy from Toronto into a teenage icon of a whole generation. As his career reached its peak with hits like Lucas and The Lost Boys, Cory was adored not only for his acting skills but also for his good looks and natural charisma. But behind the raw on-screen smiles, an endless loneliness began to take root in his soul. Cory once told someone that even at the height of his career, he felt lost. His childhood was left behind, and he quickly became the financial backbone of his family at a young age. Hollywood not only thrust him into a world of fame, but it also dragged him into a world of crime. He first tried drugs while living a lavish lifestyle and going to parties. At the time, it seemed like the only way to relieve stress, but it only led him deeper into depression. By the early 1990s, when he started getting fewer roles, Cory faced the harsh reality that Hollywood no longer favored him as it once had. Producers and directors increasingly avoided him, not because he wasn't talented, but because of the instability in his personal life. This sent Cory into a spiral of addiction and insecurity, feeling worthless in the eyes of the public, and his few appearances on screen were limited to independent films. In an emotional interview, Cory Haim said that he wanted to be loved for who he really was, not for his fame or the roles he had played. He said that his dream had turned into a chain that held him down in loneliness and despair. He tried many times to beat his addiction and start over, but the psychological wounds of his past and the pressure to revive his career kept him stuck in a vicious cycle. Hollywood may be a place where dreams are made, but for Cory Haim, it became an invisible prison. His life is a testament to the harsh price of fame, a price that not everyone can pay. When you look at pictures of Cory standing on stage with bright light shining on him but nothing else around him, you can't help but feel sad. Cory H., a brilliant talent, was swept away by the very light he once craved. Maybe what he really wanted throughout his life wasn't fame but peace. The battle to reclaim oneself. When his career seemed to have reached a dead end in the 2000s, Cory decided not to let himself be defeated. He started a journey to rediscover himself. I joined the reality show The Two Corys to get away from the shadows of addiction and the traumas of the past. He also wanted to boost his career and get back in touch with his close friend Corey Feldman. The show gave him a chance to relive the glory of his youth, but it also showed the dark sides of his life. In an emotional episode, Cory said, "I'm not myself anymore. I just want to start over." These powerful words showed how much he wanted to get over his past and make a better future, but this journey was anything but easy. Cory Haim tried many times to get better. Once, when Cory got sober, he went to recovery centers and went to therapy, but every time he tried to stay sober, the urges and temptations of addiction pulled him back into a spiral of despair. However, Cory never gave up. He told his friends, "I don't want people to remember me for my mistakes. I want them to remember me for what I tried to do." Despite all of his problems, Cory found small signs of hope. He worked on independent films and said he wanted to become a director, even though he wasn't enjoying fame. Even though he wasn't in the spotlight like before, Cory kept trying to find himself. His friends and co-workers remembered him as someone who always tried to smile, even though he was carrying a lot. The love from his fans was also a big source of motivation for him. Their letters and words of support made him feel less alone on this difficult journey. As he once said, "They make me feel like I matter." They're the reason I keep trying. But these glimmerings of hope were not enough to fully pull Cory out of the darkness. His health kept getting worse, both physically and mentally. In his last days, Cory continued to thank the people who had always loved and supported him. A touching picture of Cory signing autographs for fans at a small event a few months before he died shows how grateful he was for those who were there for him. Accusations and the dark secrets of Hollywood. In his last years, heartbreaking secrets from Cory's childhood started to come to light, revealing the cruel side of the entertainment industry. Cory not only struggled with addiction and the pressures of fame, but he also carried deep emotional scars from things he had tried to forget. To keep hidden, Cory Feldman H's close friend and co-worker, Cory, was sexually abused as a child. Cory revealed that he had been abused by a powerful figure in Hollywood, someone he had once trusted, but who betrayed him in the worst way possible. These horrifying memories followed Cory throughout his life, driving him deeper into addiction as a way to temporarily escape the unbearable pain. In an interview, Feldman shared the story with tears in his eyes. Cory told me it happened when he was a kid. That's part of what made it so hard for him to escape the pain inside these. Revelations was not only a personal tragedy for Cory H., but also an indictment of the dark side of Hollywood. It was a place where young actors were often left vulnerable while powerful people were protected by the industry's silence. Victims like Cory were left with no protection at all. Tabloids used to make scandals in the entertainment world newsworthy, but it wasn't until years later, with movements like Me Too and Time's Up, that the system was really challenged. Sadly, Cory died before these waves of change could begin. An important part of the conversation about protecting young actors and making sure that similar tragedies don't happen again. The wounds he carried not only ended his career, but also haunted him for the rest of his life, making him feel stuck in his past. For Cory, silence was not a choice, but a burden he carried until the end. Today, when we look back on Cory Hy's life, it's not just a story of lost talent. It's also a cautionary tale of the harsh realities of fame. He should have been protected and allowed to live a life without being burdened by old wounds. His death is a reminder that to stop Hollywood from hurting young actors, to keep dreams from turning into nightmares, we need to make big changes in how we treat young talent. Cory couldn't get away from that darkness, but his legacy shines a light on the forgotten parts of the entertainment industry. Sadly, on March 10, 2010, Cory Haim, one of Hollywood's biggest teen stars, was found unresponsive in his Burbank, California apartment. He died at the age of 38, leaving behind a story full of regret and tragedy and leaving fans with unanswered questions. When the news got out, everyone was shocked. Many people immediately thought that Cory's death was caused by drug abuse, but the truth was more complicated. An autopsy later confirmed that Cory's official cause of death was pneumonia, a common illness that killed a body that had been damaged by years of self-harm. Cory had struggled with fragile health, but it wasn't enough to save him from a tragic end in his last years. Cory tried to change his life by moving back in with his mother, Judy Haim, to care for her as she fought cancer. In some ways, he hoped that taking care of a loved one would help him find a sense of purpose again. But he couldn't. His mother said in an interview that Cory still had hope for the future, but the scars in his soul were too deep to heal. Even though he had times when he broke free from addiction, the effects of his past continued to haunt him and keep him from finding himself again. Cory's funeral was held in his hometown of Toronto, Canada, where he had first dreamed of a great future. Hundreds of fans, friends, and co-workers came to say goodbye. Haim's co-star, Cory Feldman, was not there. Feldman sent a touching tribute to Cory, calling him his brother and a friend through hard times. He also said that he couldn't go to the funeral because it would hurt too much, but he would always remember Cory in his heart. Cory Haim's death was not only the end of a life, but also a harsh reminder of the bad side of the entertainment industry. Hollywood had once raised Cory to great heights, but the pressures of fame and the traumas of stardom eventually crushed him. Cory had brought joy and inspiration to the world through his performances, but inside he was broken. Even though it's been 10 years since Cory Hy's death, his image still stands as an incredibly talented star who died too soon but will never be forgotten by those who loved him. Fans continue to leave flowers and letters of tribute outside the apartment where he used to live, saying that Cory was not only a star but also a beautiful part of their youth. Cory Hy's life is a poignant reminder of how important it is to have empathy, support, and true values in life. Behind Hollywood's glamour are people who are struggling every day to find. With his unwavering dedication and unspoken sorrows, Cory Haim left behind a legacy not only in his movies, but also in a story of bravery and heartbreak. Rest in peace, Cory Haim, a star who made the world a better place, even if the light didn't last forever. Legacy and lessons left behind. Cory Haim was one of the most famous teen stars of the 1980s, winning the hearts of millions with his amazing talent and charm in movies like Lucas and The Lost Boys. Haim wasn't just a good-looking guy. His performance in The Lost Boys is still a cultural touchstone. Critics often praise Haim's unique ability to connect with audiences, making his characters believable and memorable. However, behind the glitz and glamour there was a tragic story. As a young actor, Haim was subjected to a lot of pressure and exploitation, and his close friend Corey Feldman revealed that Hy had told him about the deep traumas he went through in the industry. These revelations led to important discoveries about the entertainment industry's responsibility toward young performers, and showed how it failed to keep them safe, even though Haim had problems with addiction and mental health. In his later years, he tried to rebuild his career and start working with Feldman on the reality show The Two Cory. While the show often showed his personal struggles, it also showed how determined he was to get through hard times. Sadly, his journey was cut short when he died at the age of 38, leaving fans and loved ones in deep grief. For many, Cory Haim wasn't just a star, he was a treasured part of their childhood. Fans found comfort and inspiration in his story, which remains a symbol of hope, resilience, and the lasting appeal of Hollywood's golden era. Cory Haim's story is a wake-up call for the entertainment industry, highlighting the need for greater accountability and support for young actors who are facing overwhelming pressures. It also serves as a reminder that fame doesn't guarantee happiness, and that putting mental health first is essential. His life and legacy continue to inspire, teaching a poignant lesson in resilience and the pursuit of light, even in the darkest times. If Cory Haim's journey speaks to you, please share it to honor his memory. Don't forget to like, comment, and follow to our channel for more untold Hollywood stories.